What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside the Board NFL Draft Podcast, where me and Michael break down how NFL teams actually build their rosters. I'm back. It's good to be back. Had a great weekend. A little bit sick now, but I just partied too hard. But Michael, how are we doing?
I'm doing good today. Obviously, there's a lot of news right now trending around our favorite team, but I think for the most part, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the episode we have in store. Kind of like outside of like the news that broke today. Which is unfortunate.
It's just a fun episode though without that.
But yeah, the second half of this episode, after the first 5 minutes, it's a banger. We'll talk about that as we get on. But do you want to tell them what we're going to start with today?
We're going to touch on the Terry Arnold situation. Michael's already gone into depth about that in an episode that came out on Thursday. But there's some new updates since then that we've heard about, and we're going to kind of break that down a little bit. This is coming out Thursday, so it's been a few days since this has been announced, but we know about it now. So, Michael, why don't you break it down for us?
Well, I just threw it on the screen for the for the YouTube viewers. So basically, we're recording this Monday, June 29, right? So this is going to be coming out, Saturday? So this is going to be coming out a good,
pretty much a week after.
Pretty much a week after, but this was the Monday where the trial was, not the trial, but the pre-trial. I'm not a law guy.
His hearing to have bail set, basically.
Yeah, his hearing to I think what it is to have bail set, bail or no bail, and I think the other one was if there wasn't enough evidence to decide if they actually want to go further with this trial, which newsflash, of course they do. But the other one was, so Terry Arnold, for those of you guys who don't know, obviously, accounts felony, a lot of legalist stuff I'm not going to get into there, but he went in front of trial today, in front of a jury, and they had him as a $1 million bond. That was what his bond was set at, $1 million. I think it was $150 for each of the accounts of kidnapping and $100 for each of the accounts for assault. And so the Lions then later just decided, we're gonna cut him. And I know we're probably putting a lot of we're talking about this quite a bit. And it's not because I want to, I really want to, but we're also you and I are fans of this team, which makes things, and this is a huge story about our team. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about it. This is probably the last we'll talk about it, to be honest, because right now he's not on an NFL team. And so we're in a year from now, if he's found innocent, we're not going to be wow, there it is. This is probably the last we'll talk about it. But this is just a really unfortunate situation for a young person to be in. And I know he did it to himself. Well, we don't even know, right? Allegedly, he did it to himself. It sucks. But I want to talk about this from the Lions' perspective because I see a lot of people who are very, not angry with the Lions, but they're well, why didn't you wait to see how the how it played out? The Lions have a no tolerance for this. I believe it was 2 years ago they signed Cam Sutton to a massive deal. And in that offseason, or no, the year before, so 3 years ago, they signed Cam Sutton to a massive deal. The next offseason, he's convicted of fleeing the police and beating up a girl, which charges dropped, so he's still in the league, but the Lions cut him literally a day later. Right? Yeah. The Lions talked to Terry Arnold about it. They questioned him when it first came up in February, and he said, I did nothing. I have no connections to this. This is something that's it's just people I know that is dragging me into it. And so part of it, most of it is the Lions just have a zero tolerance policy for that. That's just not what they do. They don't put up with that, especially under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. If you have an incident off the field, you're done. And Calvin Shepard said, like, we want him to stop talking and play football. Well, the problem is he's not talking right now, but that's part of the problem is because he can't actually talk. He was in prison. And so, yeah, just unfortunate. But the Lions cut him. I also think part of it was, you have this conversation with a guy like, we want to trust you, and it turns out you're not. Turns out that maybe you didn't tell the full truth to them. Is another thing. Yeah. But Eddie, you weren't with me on the last episode, so give me kind of the quick rundown, your reactions. Obviously, he wasn't like the greatest player for the Lions,
right?
But you were hoping he would get better. Give me kind of your rundown as a Lions fan.
Yeah, I mean, this news. Quick rundown here. It really doesn't surprise me because, like we're saying, the Lions are a no tolerance policy. I can't think straight. Zero tolerance policy. That's the phrase I'm looking for, right? So it does not surprise me that he was released. I had the questions kind of, which we talked about a little bit outside of this, of, do we still have to pay him his contract and fulfill that? Because he still has like 2 years left on his contract, or did. Mm-hmm. Long story short, didn't really break it down, but long story short is we don't. And so I think, obviously, no matter what, let's cut him, because if he is innocent and he can play halfway through the season, because we had to pay him, like, I think if we had to pay him, we shouldn't drop him, because that's just wasted money, right? We might get him back. But yeah, he wasn't the best player. It's obviously unfortunate to have anyone be put in this situation, whether they were good or not, but I think it's the right move from the Lions. I'm just wondering, like, because we did our depth charts with this last week, right? And how do you think that's changing now? Right, exactly.
I say he needs to step up.
Yep.
Because
now that he's not, we have, I have to pull up the depth chart, but do you know who's coming, like, going to step in now? At least probably would.
You can. While you pull it up, I'll kind of take the lead on this one, though. And when they first started their OTA program, which is their off-season training, he's recovering from a shoulder injury. He's not really out there practicing. And Dan Campbell said very bluntly, and people who watch this that aren't Lions fans probably don't know, but Dan Campbell's a very open, honest media guy. Like, that's just the truth. He doesn't really, like, he's a little too honest at times. Very bluntly was like, he's got to go earn it. And from all the observations I've read out at training camp, when he was out there in walkthroughs, and Dan Campbell also said, don't, like, read into where we're putting guys on what field, but he was with the second stringers and the third stringers. And they had Rocky Asin and they had Ennis Rakestraw with the first team. I think that speaks to that they just weren't impressed with his play, and he needed to earn it. And this happened, and then it's like, well, he didn't earn it. We don't want to deal with that in our culture. The Lions all offseason have had this mantra that's like no funny business, like strictly business. We're getting to work. Last year was a disappointment. We're not having distractions this year. And what happens? This is a big distraction. They're just going to get rid of him. And it sucks. I really was happy when they drafted him because I thought he was a really good player when they drafted him, and it fit a position of need. It was in Detroit. The atmosphere was awesome, and it just didn't pan out. Obviously, for his sake, I do hope, it'll be easier for me to remember Terrion Arnold as the guy that we cut because we just have a zero tolerance policy, but he ends up being innocent. Like, I still want him to
You'd want
be innocent,
that over a convicted felon. Yep, I agree.
But yeah, now it's Rocky Asin, it's Ennis Rakestraw, and a lot of people are saying the Lions are going to need to add a corner. I don't see that happening, man. I think they're going to roll with their guys.
People even are bringing up, did you say McCreary yet?
McCreary plays the nickel. I don't think he could bounce to the outside. I think that's a slight possibility, but I'm not going to bank on that just because I think they really like him in the nickel.
We have Rakestraw, too.
Yeah, I think Rakestraw, you don't know what he's going to be yet. Rocky Asin played better than Terrion Arnold played last year. And if we're being honest here, maybe not better, but the same kind of player.
Yeah.
DJ Reed's going to be fully healthy this year. Hopefully, right? I don't want to jinx anything because things don't go right for us. So, like, you're hoping DJ Reed's healthy. When DJ Reed was healthy last year, he was a very good corner. And obviously, if the Lions just get more pass rush, that's just going to help the secondary out tremendously. So, Lions fans, it's not over, okay? It sucks. Yeah. I get it.
Well,
it's
we're
not
a little bit more
over.
than fine.
And it's not over. We'll be fine. All right, like, trust this. The Lions went to the NFC Championship game with Kindle Vildor and Cam Sutton starting at corner for them. Like, they can do it with DJ Reed and Rocky Ascent. Like, if the offense is good enough and the defensive line is good enough, they'll be fine. Like, they'll be fine. So, that's kind of my whole little spiel on the situation. But let's move on to the more fun part, because that's not the fun part. Let's not talk about that for the rest.
Today, Michael, today, I don't have to be here for this one, but today, as you guys can see, we have some teams listed up. Excuse me.
Oh, man.
We are going to be ranking the team's starting running backs. And then we're going to, so we're kind of doing a weird mix. We're going to rank them, I think what we decided, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to rank them first based off of their starting running backs, and then we're going to adjust the ranking based off of the depth of their secondaries and their backups for the running back class.
Here's how, so if we, to simplify, I don't think we will change it necessarily based on their depth.
But we'll
touch on their depth and where we would rank their depth.
But we'll focus mostly on their starters.
Yeah, it's who their starting running back is on ESPN's depth chart. It's not going to be... So, for example, right, like let's talk about the Bears, because I think the Bears are the first obvious one, right? Like, they have two running backs. Where we put DeAndre Swift is vastly different from where we would put DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. If you factor in both of them, they would probably be higher than where we're going to put them.
Exactly.
But it's just strictly running back ones. All right, I need to make that very clear, because the only other tier list I could find with actual players had like 60 players, and I was not about to do that. I was like, we'll do 32. So, this should be fun, though. Not controversial at all, right?
No, absolutely not. So you want to just get started left to right, or?
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go Rams to Patriots, take a break, Lions to Texans to kind of finish it off. So.
Okay.
All right, so jumping right in to the Los Angeles Rams is our first team. They're starting running back Kyron Williams. Eddie, where would you go? S through F, and we'll debate. We'll meet in the middle. This is our collective, not just
this is a good collective,
one
not
of
just
us.
Michael's or.
Yeah. Kyron Williams, I think this is a very interesting one, because I think this sets the standard of what these tiers are in our opinions.
I would argue.
Yeah. What would you say?
Sorry, I might have cut out. I would go A. I don't think you can go much lower than A unless there's an in between. But I think he's a very solid running back. As we were looking through this list, I don't know who I'm going to be putting at S, who I would argue is an S tier. Maybe I'm just not generous enough for that, but I feel like I would put him in an A tier. But
so I think there's two running backs that I would put in S tier. So here's kind of like in my thought process, like, and you and I can shift it based on what we want. I would put S as like superstar, like all-pro player, running back, right? Like the best of the best, essentially. Like if you're a top 15 player in the NFL, in my opinion, I think you're an S tier. Not every position is going to have an S tier, but like running back, I think is very possible. A tier, I would say, is like a Pro Bowler. Like you're probably still a top 10 running back. Probably maybe like in like the 3 through like 8 range is where you would be as a running back. I would say B tier is where you're kind of getting to like the back half of the top 10. You're in like the 9 to like 15 range.
Yeah.
And then like C, I think, is like average. I would say D is like below average. I would say like C is like average, like, but they can give you good production in the right system. D, I would say, is below average, replaceable. F, I would say, is like you need to like, you would take most of these running backs over your starter. So that's kind of where I am with the.
I agree.
Yeah. So I So you said A for Kyron?
I think I would go A.
I would put Kyron Williams in the B tier.
Okay.
And we can debate about this. Like, I'm fine if you want to put him in A. I think, in my opinion, I don't think Kyron Williams is a top 10 running back. I think I could list 10 guys. I have my list of the top 10 that'll be coming out on social media later. I don't think I would put Kyron in my top 10. He's not in my top 10. So by that point, I don't think I could put him in A tier.
I respect that.
But we can also adjust it if you want, right? Like if we get some guys that are
right.
going
No, yeah,
in A tier,
it's not completely locked in. Yeah, I agree.
So do you want to put him in A to start?
Yeah, we'll put him in to start, and I'm fine adjusting it. If we get more guys in A tier, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't fit with that class. 'Cause I think that'll definitely happen as we get further down the line here with some of these guys.
Yeah, let's talk about Kyron real quick, just because I feel like Kyron is a guy who he's always sneakily putting up numbers.
I feel like he is kind of overlooked a little bit.
Yeah, I mean last year.
I think because you have Abuka and Stafford and those other guys on here, he gets a little overlooked. But I think the Rams have a very kind of underlooked running game, especially with Williams.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, you look at his stats from last year: 4.8 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns, 1,252 yards, and I think he's still 25 years old. I mean, for a 5th-round pick, you got very, very good value there out of Kyron. I think, obviously, there's a lot of, I just think there's more talented players that are asked maybe to do a little bit more. I think when you think of the Rams, you think of their more, weapons on the outside with Adams and Puka, and you think of Stafford at the helm.
Right.
But I do think Kyron Williams is very solid. I think he's a guy who gets very much overlooked in the NFL. But yeah, I completely understand A or B. I think he's well worthy of both. I think we'll see kind of who we have coming down the pipe here at the running back position, and we'll adjust him. I think he's one of those very flex. If we had an A-, B+ tier, he'd go right in there. But I think unfortunately we're going to need to just kind of see how the list goes.
Yeah, I agree. Should we move on to the good old Browns?
Let's move on to the Cleveland Browns here. For the Cleveland Browns, we have Quinshon Judkins. Eddie, what are we thinking for Judkins? Where would you kind of put him in this list? A rookie, very promising rookie, but got hurt at the end of the year. What are we thinking?
Yeah. I think I would put him in just based off of what we have now, not necessarily what we think, not necessarily predictions, based off of pretty much exactly what you've seen last season. I would put him in a D tier, I think.
Okay.
I think because I would argue, right, I think with where he's at right now, he's not necessarily the guy that I want on my team or on my starting roster, maybe as a backup. And I think he has a lot of young talent and promise, but I don't think I want him as the running back 1 for my team.
Okay. Can I make a push? I think C tier.
Okay.
Because I think if we're going based off right now, I understand what you're saying, right? We don't want to put him too high and just be well, it's all projection. But right. I think you saw enough good before the injury happened last year that you're hoping he can he can continue to develop. That's why I would put him in C tier. Based off of what we said with that 9 to 15 range, average type starter. I do think he's a C tier caliber running back. He might be the back half of C tier, but I think right now we should put him in C tier. If there's one thing I think Judkins needs to improve on a little bit, I think it's the efficiency. I think the efficiency could get him to being maybe even an A tier by the end of his career. But he averaged less than 4 yards per carry, so there's still room to grow. But he also plays on the Browns, right? An offense who was abysmal last year, which he did most of the work for. So I would argue C, but I would be okay with C.
I'd be okay with C right now to start us off with where our board's at.
Yeah, I'm okay with C again. I do think the C and B tier will be probably our most crowded tiers. So
Yeah,
like,
I don't see F or A or S really getting filled up too much.
yeah, but I would say like you. Yeah, but I could see like I think what we should do is rank them inside the tiers. So like based off, so like so then it's like okay,
Right,
well,
furthest to the left is the highest of the C's versus
yeah.
the furthest to the right. Yeah, no, we'll definitely do it that way. So it's kind of a little more.
Yeah, because then when you
detailed.
look at it, yeah, Judkins is more back half of C, like could have been in D, and you kind of see like Kyron could be in the back
it's
half
just
of
we
A.
don't have 20 brackets with a D plus and a D minus on there. It's just
Exactly. But
yeah. All right.
yeah, are you ready to?
Let's move on
Ready to
to
move on to the
the
next one?
Falcons.
All right, the Falcons, Bijan Robinson. Do you want me to go first for this one, or do you want to go first?
You can go ahead and start. Where do you want them? And I'll counter if I have a different
All
opinion.
right. I'll put him in the S tier. Like
Yeah.
I said, there's 2-3 guys that I think are S tier caliber. I think there's only 2, and he is one of them. I think he's the best running back in the NFL. I think the things he can do, not just like big explosive plays, but in between the tackles on a down-to-down basis, he can catch the football out of the backfield. The impact he has for a Falcons offense that has been abysmal for such a long time, I think is extraordinary. I think he's absolutely well deserving of it, and I think he's a true top 10 player in the NFL, just purely position and talent wise.
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah.
think?
I mean, not to make for a boring episode, but I was also going to go S with him. I assumed you were too. I had that thought going into it. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. He has an elite vision, his really good contact balance and receiving ability, and I think he's just a really strong running back that the Falcons are lucky to have.
Yeah, there's not a lot of players that you say are like everything you want in a running back, or running backs that you grade out as a
dang close.
Yeah,
If not,
he's
arguably
he's
there.
close. Yeah, he's really close, and you could argue like he's one of like the rare examples I feel like of like generational running back prospect. Like they took him at 8, and like I would say that was arguably worth the investment. They just haven't been as good team wise to warrant that investment. But I think he's been as good of a player to be taken at number 8 overall. As a guy that was critical of him being taken at 8, I think the talent was definitely worthy of being taken at 8. So I definitely would put him in the S tier.
Yep.
And yeah.
All right, let's go on to the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers, we're going to have Amarian Hampton, the running back. Obviously, he missed most of last year with an injury, which was unfortunate. But the former first-round pick, Amarian Hampton. Eddie, do you want me to take the lead on this one, or do you want to do it?
I'm going to go straight in the middle for him. I would argue C. I would put him above
You argue C?
Judkins, but I'll let you
Okay.
kind of start off the breakdown, and I'll pivot off of what you have to say.
Yeah, so first of all, let's clarify this. We should have clarified this beforehand, but we do things on the fly here at Inside the Board.
Yeah.
Do you want to go every other on who's going first? So like you go first
Yeah.
for the Chargers, and then we just kind of flip back and forth.
Yep, we should do that.
Okay. Instead of asking every time. All right. I truly believe that by the end of this year, we could be having Amarian Hampton as a potential top 10 running back in the NFL conversation.
Okay.
I think he's that talented. I almost thought he was better, if not just as good as Genty was coming out when you watch the tape. With that being said, okay, and this really pains me to say, he played 9 games last year. And while he was good in those 9 games, that's a really small sample size. So as much as I want to put him in ahead of Judkins, I think Judkins has played more games in the NFL.
Okay.
He's had better stats on a worse team. I have to go I have to go C tier for right now. And I'm going to go behind Judkins. And we can have the conversation if you want to, if you really feel strongly about moving Hampton over him. I just think based on the amount of games played last year and that Judkins was still very productive, I have to switch him. Even though I still
I kind of
believe
forgot
Hampton's
about the
due
only
for a
9
huge
games
year.
played because, sorry, I cut you off. But
No,
I kind of forgot about the only 9 games played because I was thinking back to, like, I know this name, but I barely know this name. And then I remember you brought that up, and I was like, oh, that's why I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I would agree because I liked what I saw. But you don't see, like you said, you don't see enough of it. So I would agree. He'll probably move down a little more. Honestly, I'm thinking, but
Yeah, and
I would agree. I
I'm
would
gonna be
agree with
honest.
that placement.
Yeah, I think if we're talking like future year, like we're looking like 2 years, or we do this next year, I think Hampton could be in B, maybe even A, based on the year that I think he's going to have for the Chargers. I just think, we're just not there yet, which really pains me to put him that low because I am such a believer in his talent and his skill set that he brings to the table. But I think right now, I think Judkins just had a little bit better of a rookie year. Like, I think there's a world where if Judkins didn't get hurt, he had a small argument to potentially be offensive player of the year. Or offensive rookie of the year. But he ended up getting hurt. So that kind of hurt Judkins a little bit too. So I'd put Hampton right in that. Right now he's an average starter with the potential to be even higher.
Yeah. All right, Dougie, 49ers, you're up to start.
All right, 49ers, Christian McCaffrey. Man, this is an interesting one. I will say, if you look at the pure rushing numbers with McCaffrey, they are worse than Kyron. But I would put McCaffrey ahead of Kyron because I still think Christian McCaffrey is a top 5 running back in the NFL. I think McCaffrey, when you break it down, while the rushing numbers may not look as good as Kyron's, I mean, they're very similar, just way less efficient. He also almost had a 1,000 season with 1,000 yards. I think he was about like 80-something yards short of 1,000 yards receiving as well. He had 17 all-purpose touchdowns last year. The dude, yes, he's getting old, and I think the only reason he's not S after putting up that insane year is because he's 30 years old. And I know that's like a little bit disrespectful, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I do value that in a running back. Like, I still think Christian McCaffrey is eventually he's going to get a step back. I don't know when, but it'll happen, and where he'll slow down a little bit. He's 30 years old. I still think he's a top 5 running back. I would put him in A. I'm curious what you think here, Eddie.
Yeah, I was gonna almost argue S tier, but I don't really think he would be like bottom of the barrel S tier, and we would have to have a lot more names than I think we'll end up having for it. So I would definitely put him on the top end of the A, above Williams, like we were saying.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I mean, he is you would argue like the engine of the offense, right? I mean, he's the guy that really steps in, big name, big runs, big plays. I think McCaffrey is a really great running back, like you said, getting a little older. So I would put him in that A tier, definitely above Kyreem, and probably staying at the top end of that A tier.
Yeah, so you wouldn't argue for S anymore? Because if you want S, like, I understand it.
I would, honestly, I kind of want to put him in S, but kind of with the idea to move him down, because I'm not sure who else. I know I have one other S that I know I'd put there. I'm not sure who else you have. We might have the same
you
guy.
and I are
we probably have the same
lockstep
guy.
with who else we put in that.
Right, we probably have the same guy, so I'm not too concerned. But I think I'm comfortable with him sitting in the low end of S tier, just because of the legacy he's building. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's though where again, follow us on social media when I post my top 10s at every position. But I think that's what goes into the debate of legacy versus what you get right now. And it's a good thing McCaffrey's both of those things. But there are guys where I rank them higher just based off of my honest belief in them as a I rank them higher. Like, maybe they're like a fringe top 10, but I put them ahead of the guy that maybe was better last year because that guy had one good year. Based off legacy, it's the true legacy versus 1 year debate. Like, there's a debate going on TikTok. Feel free to join the comments. I've been liking every single one. I've been thoroughly enjoying. Caleb Williams, Jordan Love versus Jared Goff, right? It's like all three of them, and it's, do you value the one good year Caleb had, the good moments Jordan Love certainly has, or the consistent play that Goff's given you for the last 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And I think the argument could be made for a guy like McCaffrey if he's... It's a good thing he didn't take a step back, but if he ever does he still warrant that spot? I think for now, S is definitely up there for him.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the Panthers then. We've got
his old team.
Old
Carolina
team.
Panthers, Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Where are you thinking for Chuba Hubbard?
I'm going to go B.
Ooh, B, okay.
Because I would, like we're talking, like, with, I feel like we're just going to touch back on this a lot, because I feel like Quinton Judkins is the midpoint for us, right, on this tier list. And because of his, I would just argue, like, he's played more games, he's shown more, and I think he has a more veteran status, and I think because of that, that puts me higher on the list for him, because we've seen him improve, and we've also seen what he does, and I think for me that puts me slightly above a rookie that we haven't really seen necessarily a lot of after an injury yet. We don't know how he's coming off of that injury, and so if we're going to go based off of that, but I also feel like he's much better as a supportive RB2, and they're going to be bouncing between their two a lot. I don't think he's a main stage RB1, so I would be okay if you were thinking more of the C tier, putting him in C above Judkins.
So I think this is honestly where, this is like the ones where I have him in D.
Okay.
And this is as a guy that, like, I like Chuba Hubbard as a player. I really do.
Right.
Like, you look back at his 2024 season. Yeah, 2024. He had over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and it's like Carolina extends him, right? Like, he comes in as RB1. But one thing that I will say is I do think the ceiling is higher for Hubbard. I do think he got a little bit banged up last year. I think he got banged up, and then obviously when they played the Dolphins and there was another, and the Cowboys, like two horrible defenses, Rico Dowdle went off, and then all of a sudden, like, Chuba Hubbard was like a lost cause. Yeah. I like Chuba Hubbard. I just think based off what I saw last year and him coming off an injury, I would put him D.
Okay.
But do you want to split the bill and go C? I'm okay with doing whatever. Like, if you want to split the bill and go C,
I would be okay splitting it, and let's go C.
okay.
And we can put him under. You want to put him in between the two, or would you put him ahead?
You would put him ahead of Judkins, right?
I think I would, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, I'd be okay going middle. I'd definitely put him above
Hampton?
Chargers. Yeah, I would definitely put him above Hampton, I think.
Yeah. I would put him below both, but we'll go middle. I think that's honestly perfectly fair. Just want to see a little bit more from a healthy Chuba Hubbard this year, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's there, though, so.
Yep.
All right, give me the Seahawks.
All right, the NFC champion. Sorry, NFC Super Bowl champion. My apologies. So, this is a very interesting one. This is the one that comes into when we talk about, like, running back rooms. On ESPN, it says Zach Charbonnet is their RB1. I don't know if he's going to be healthy to start the year, so I don't know if I'm ranking Jadarian Price or Zach Charbonnet. So I think I'm going to rank both of them. Okay? Like, if that makes sense, like, there'll be a couple teams on here where it's like we'll just rank two guys because they'll be in the same tier. I would put them in D tier. I think Charbonnet, there's just a lot of question marks. And, well, like, I like Charbonnet as a player. There seems to be, like, if we talk about D tier as below, like, average replaceable level, then Charbonnet's literally in that bucket because they tried to replace him with a first-round pick. So that's... And I don't know enough about Price to be like, I think he's going to be in B tier. There's one guy on here that I may have a hot take on that a lot of people may disagree with me, but I'm going to put Jadarian Price / Zach Charbonnet. I would put him in the D tier category.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't have much to add. I'm in the same. I'm still in the same boat you are of just not really. Again, we're not sure who exactly will do it, and just not really knowing 100% either of these players how they're going to fit and how they're going to play. It's a big gap that's kind of been created for them. So
yeah. All right, want to go with the Bills here?
Let's go with the Bills.
All right, James Cook. Okay, running back for the Bills. Where do you have James Cook? Led the NFL in rushing, I'm pretty sure, last year.
I believe he did. I think that's another A tier for me. I feel like I'm kind of high on everyone, but I feel like this one's not really. I think that one's kind of good.
That's good. Honestly,
but I don't know.
I kind of want that because I feel like I'm low. I feel like I'm lower on guys.
Right.
I feel like it'll balance out for us.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, excuse me. Would you put him above or below Williams?
So I agree with you. He's A. I would put him above Kyren.
I would too. Yeah.
He's a more well-rounded player than Kyren. I think Kyren's maybe a better between the tackles runner, but I think explosive out in space. Plus, I don't think they've tapped into his ability to catch the ball in the backfield as much. I think that gives James Cook a big upside. So I would go with James Cook ahead of Kyren Williams, but I think he's the perfect spot for him.
Yeah, I agree. He's a very dual threat. He has a very dual threat ability, and he's proven his efficiency very well. He's an elusive playmaker that I think really stands out for the Bills and definitely earns that spot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Moving right along here, going to the Packers. Josh Jacobs. What are we thinking here, Eddie?
This is your pick, man, but I can.
Oh, it's mine?
Yeah, I did Bills, remember?
Oh, that's right. Oh, it is mine. I'm going to go B.
Yep.
The more I look at it, the more I think about it, I'm going to go B. I think him and Kyren is still kind of a coin flip to me. I think although Kyren was better than Jacobs last year, I still think Jacobs has that next level. We can keep Kyren over him for sure because...
What I was going to say is, do you want to put him in B above Jacobs? Because I would be comfortable with that. Because I don't know if I would put Williams next to Cook.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that 100%. I like that. I like that. I like that. But I wouldn't... So my whole thing is, I truly think... So, I don't want to spoil anything, but... Because my running back list, honestly, has changed 3 times. My top 10. I have Jacobs right now at 10, and I have Kyren Williams at 11. And I'm just not quite sure who to put at that. Because Jacobs, a year ago, was a very productive, very good player for the Packers. He was arguably the engine of that offense. And last year, I don't know if it was injury. He wasn't as efficient last year. And obviously he's battling some off-the-field stuff this year. But he still had 13 touchdowns, just short of 1,000 yards rushing. He missed 2 games, right? So, he probably eclipses 1,000 if he's healthy. And the year before, he was the workhorse back behind that Packers offense. He had over 1,000, 15 touchdowns. So I think it's a coin flip between him and Kyren. I'm okay going Kyren over him because, I don't know what's going to change in my rankings. I might keep it the same way. But I think B is the perfect spot for him. I think he's an above-average starter. I think he's a guy that's going to go get you You know what you're going to get. He's the engine of the offense. I don't think he's a Pro Bowl All-Pro player based off of last year. He just wasn't as efficient. And he's definitely not S tier. So I think B's perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
I think people might get a little offended with the B tier. I just want to clarify, the B tier does not mean you're bad. Like, the B tier, I feel like still
we have
means
to explain
solid.
this so much, but, like, B tier is middle of the pack, right? And if you can compete average with other NFL teams as a running back, that's already miles above what the average American can do.
Yeah, there's a reason teams draft running backs.
It's not like we're saying they
a lot.
pulled someone off the couch to go play running back. Like, they're still very good. It's just B through S is, like, the elites, and then close, like, above average kind of.
Yeah, like, S is, like, the best of the best. A is, like, the, like, really good, bona fide, like, surefire top 10s. And then B is, like, you could argue top 10, but you could also argue, like, they're more middle of the pack based off the skill set you want. So, yeah, I like having Jacobs right there in that B tier.
I agree. All right, let's touch up on the Saints then. Travis Etienne Jr.
It's you. Good year for the Jags last year.
Right, very good year for the Jags. Moving on to the Saints, which I think everyone's excited about.
Yeah.
Missed his rookie year, but he really stepped back in that second year, putting up a lot of good stats, and proving himself as running back for Jacksonville. So I would honestly put him.
I think he's one of the tougher ones. You'd put him in B?
Would you put him? I would put him in B, but bottom of B under Jacobs.
So I would put him under Jacobs for sure.
You think even under?
Who else I could throw in that? I just feel like I would put him in. I think I had him in C in my notes, but when I look more at the stats, and I had this problem when I was doing it. He seems like a B kind of guy stat wise. The problem is though like I don't think as a player he's on the same level as a Jacobs or a Kyron. But I don't think I think he's way better than your Judkins, your Hamptons, and your Hubbards.
Right.
So I would go back. I think I had.
Would you rather see him top of B or top of C? Sorry. Because I think I could get behind either. Because what I think will end up happening is we start putting more guys in B, and realizing he doesn't fit the class. So I'm fine putting him lower, and if we decide he deserves to go up, moving him up later.
Let's go C to start. I like that idea because I think he definitely, out of these four we have in C, he's definitely the better one, the best one. I just don't I feel like he just looks out of place if you're putting him with Kyron and Josh Jacobs. But also I feel like he's kind of in like that C plus range, so it's almost like
high end of C, low end of B. Yeah.
So. I think there are a couple guys that are comparable to him that, based on what you decide and based on what we kind of talk about, maybe that changes kind of where we put ETN. So I'm perfectly okay with C tier.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm happy with that. Mm-hmm. So touch on the Raiders.
Yeah, let's touch on this. I'm interested. This is me first, I think.
Yes.
Ashton Genty, the prodigy running back. Man. I am going to reluctantly... Oh, man. You know what? I think I'm going to go B tier.
Yeah.
Where do you have them?
I think I would, looking at what C is right now, I think I would go low end B tier.
Low end of B tier? Yeah. I was close between B and C. And it's exactly for the pure sake of, I think he was perfectly fine his rookie year. I just think the Raiders were just a disaster. And I think with them being a disaster, he kind of fell into that trap. I mean, you look at his stats, though, like 975 yards, 5 touchdowns is like an okay. Like, you hope he has more touchdown production this upcoming year. But they have a better offensive line this year. It's just, I think what is a little bit hard for me is putting him ahead of ETN. But I think talent-wise and youth-wise, I would take him over Travis Etienne if I need to pick one today. So
I agree.
I would put him in B tier. It makes me kind of want to move Etienne up, but like you said, we can obviously these rankings are fluid. So I think I would go B tier with Jeff.
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Moving right along to the Dallas Cowboys.
Javonte Williams.
This is also could get interesting.
This is also, I feel like I'm going to get flamed for this because personally I like Javonte Williams, but I also would argue, he's obviously not S tier, and I don't even think I really put him with Cook, but I think I'd have put him above Jacobs. I think I put him between Williams and Jacobs. Or do you think you like him above Williams even? Or Curry?
I think he's above Genty. I wouldn't put him above Jacobs, but if you want to put him above Jacobs, that's perfectly okay.
Or do you like? I don't like him lower.
He had a great year last year. He had a great year last year. Like
I don't like him under a teen, but I would be okay under Jacobs.
Okay.
Or not a teen. Raiders. Yeah, I'd be okay with him in the middle. I think.
like over Jacobs, but in between Kyron. In between Kyron and Jacobs, I think that's fair. The bottom line is he was really good last year. It was 1 year, right? And he's 1 year. He's 26. He could definitely get better, but I do think there's still some question. So I would have him below Jacobs, but I think if we put him in between, it's fair. I almost kind of want to move Genty down now, which might seem early, but I kind of feel like if we put Genty here, I think that's fair and C, just because I think there'll be a couple more guys in B that are definitely better than Genty and ETN. So I think putting them in C might be fair. We might need to have a conversation about moving maybe some guys down from C, but we'll see kind of where we end up. But I agree with B. I think I like that placement for Javonte Williams.
Yeah. All right, Bears. We got.
Oh man, this is what worries me with controversial decisions. DeAndre Swift, right? Not DeAndre Swift and Kyle, DeAndre Swift. Had a great year last year. There's no denying he outperformed my expectations. Okay. I look at some of the guys we're going to have coming up. I would put him in C tier. Yeah. I just think when we define C tier as average starter, I just think that's what DeAndre Swift is. I just don't think he's this really good running back. I don't. I'm sorry. He'll put up stats. Maybe this is me hating on him as a former Lion, but I don't know, man. He just was never he just never really blows me away when I watch games. He just has games where he's solid, but we talked about it on our breakdown. I think Monungai's a better running back than he is. So that's why I'd put Swift in the C tier. If you want to go B tier, I'm perfectly okay with it.
No, I think
he's the toughest one. He's definitely the toughest one.
I'm
sorry.
I'm tempted to go B, but I think I'm okay with it sitting at C for now.
Okay.
I think it's something I would have to. I think it's something I'd have to look at C later and say, oh, I don't think based on who else we've put here, he's quite in that level. But I would definitely keep. I want to keep him on the higher end of C.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let's start with C. We can move him up if necessary. Moving along to the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. Um, I have him in A. I also think he is better. Wait, is this your first or is this me first?
It's mine first, but I was gonna go A too, so it's okay.
Okay. I think
I like how we
he's-
tried to make this easy for ourselves by going every other, and we don't
and
know.
we've forgotten. We've forgotten literally
Right.
every single time.
But that's all right. I would go A, and I almost want to put him above Cook, but I'm curious how you feel about that.
I'd put him above Cook.
Yeah.
I think he's a better running back than James Cook. He was on pace for a historical year before Daniel Jones got hurt, and then that kind of whole offense started to sputter. Especially when they got Phillip Rivers, teams kind of just loaded up the box against them. I think he's awesome. I think based off of where we put McCaffrey, I think you could argue S, but I don't want to put.
Right.
We
But
are lockstep that there's one more coming. I don't want to
At
put
that
four.
point, right. At that point, I would rather put McCaffrey at the high end of A than move Taylor up to S. Like, I would rather
Yes.
do that if we come down to it.
But I think I like having McCaffrey in S if possible.
In S.
Like
I
if you
agree.
like McCaffrey in S, then that's perfectly fine. Even though I would take Taylor over him based off of last year, I perfectly understand it. Like this is our list, not just one of ours. So
Right, I agree. I like
Makes
this
sense.
now. I think if we're not sure at the end, we move McCaffrey down to just the top end of A.
yeah,
I like
agree.
that over having 4 in the S tier.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to put 4 in the S tier. I feel like that needs to be sacred. I almost think there's a chance we still move McCaffrey down, but
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see kind of how we play it out. Let's start
Yeah.
out with, we were supposed to have our friend Eli Wester on. He couldn't
He'd
come
love
on
this
today,
one.
so yeah,
Where
the
you at,
Devon
Eli?
A-Chain conversation. Where are we putting A-Chain?
Oh, this is yours.
Every time, dude. I would put him in the
Doesn't
A
matter.
tier, and I'd put him ahead of Cook, but below Taylor. And I
Yep.
think I'd put him ahead of Cook for the simple reason of he just does so much with just a terrible offensive line. Like his offensive line is horrific. So that's why I would put him in A. And I think Cook has a solid offensive line, which I think benefits him a little more. A-Chain, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, over 5.5 yards per carry. Explosive player. What are you doing?
You want to come and play a video game with us?
What video game?
It's the game on Netflix. It's the World Cup.
Here, I'll come play when I'm done with this, okay?
Oh, are you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Thanks, Abigail,
Eddie says thanks
for ruining it.
for ruining it. She says you're welcome. All right, jumping right back into it. I'd put him in A. I think when you talk about A-Chain, I think when you talk about his explosive ability, I think he's a clear difference maker on that Dolphins team. And where he makes he's making the best out of just a terrible situation. So I would put A-Chain in A. I'd put him ahead
Yeah.
of Cook. I'm curious,
I-
what do you think about the Cook debate? Would you put him ahead of Cook?
I like it because what I would argue is what your argument is I'd put him above Cook because if you think about Cook and the Bills, right? The Bills are working with a lot more. Like they have why am I blanking on this?
More weapons. I know what you're saying. I'll finish it for you. He's saying
Well,
he's saying
Well,
the
we'll make
the
it
Bills
easy.
have more
I
weapons.
was gonna go names, and I'm still so exhausted for this weekend, dude. But
Yeah.
they have more
They
weapons
also have
to
Josh
work with.
Allen.
It's Josh Allen. That's the name I was thinking of, dude. And I was like, freaking, gosh.
Yeah.
But
no, I
they
know.
have way more weapons to work with. This guy is like one of the best players on the Dolphins team, and the stats he puts up using the offense that's there is impressive. So I think he deserves to be above Cook.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd put A-Chain ahead of Cook. Moving right along to the New England Patriots. I believe it's Ramondre Stevenson is their main starter on the
Yes.
depth chart. It is. I know where I would put this, but you're up first, I think, here. So
Yep. Yeah, I would think high D, low C.
Oh, really? I was going to say F.
Okay, really?
I think by the end of the year, Henderson will be above him and he will be kind of in the more C-ish tier.
Okay.
But I personally would put him in F. I think Stevenson, if we're just doing Stevenson, I just don't think Stevenson is like F is like you shouldn't be starting. Stevenson is that. They are just waiting for Henderson to take the reins of that offense. And once he does, it will not. Stevenson's carries will get lower and lower in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. You changed my mind on that. I would go F.
Yeah, I'd go F as well. So you want to take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break, dude, and end on a first F, and we'll jump right back into the last couple teams. What's up, guys? Welcome back from break. We're gonna jump right back into this with let's see, you're starting, Michael. Remember that? You're starting.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got the layup. I got the 2 layups today that I started with. We're starting with the Lions, by the way. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's an S tier.
Yep.
I think this is one of the more simple ones, if I'm being honest with you. I also think I had a Christian McCaffrey, personally.
Yes.
I think him and Bijan are 1 and 2. And I understand people might make the argument that there are guys out there with better stats, and there are guys out there that, not just with better stats, but like more visible stats with worse situations. I understand that. The problem is, you look at this dude's production the last 3 years and last year. First year, his rookie year, he played in 15 games, 950 yards, 10 touchdowns. 11 total touchdowns if you count receiving. 17 games, 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, 20 total touchdowns. Last year, he had 18 total touchdowns. He had 620 yards receiving, along with 1,200 rushing. I mean, that's about like 1,700 yards, right? 1,800 yards, almost 2,000 all-purpose yards. The dude's awesome, all right? And like I don't know why. If you can make an argument that he's below anyone else, I would want to hear it. I personally just think him and Bijan are in a league of their own right now in the NFL as running backs.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. I would put him above McCaffrey, and I think they're pretty even on that first slot, so I'm pretty happy with Gibbs sitting at 2, and that was my S. So, Bengals, Chase Brown, that's mine. I feel like it's D.
Ooh, D.
Do you think?
Oh, man.
I feel like I have him a little.
Okay, I didn't
probably have him a little
okay,
lower. But
I
D,
said
but
B.
like high end, really. For Chase Brown,
I said B. So okay, he's the guy that I would compare to Swift, where
Okay.
I think fantasy. If people are going based off fantasy football, they'd have him higher. So numbers wise, he's okay. 17th in rushing. By the way, rushing for over 1,000 is just like not that difficult right now in the NFL. Like
right. Everyone's
Chase Brown, I would say C. I think actually C is fair. I wouldn't quite go D. We might have to move some guys, honestly, from the C tier to the D tier.
What I'm thinking, yes.
Okay, let me hear.
Panthers down to D tier, and then we put Brown, put Chase Brown above the Saints. Or no, not the Saints, sorry, the Raiders. I almost would have them above Swift.
After
or
Swift?
below Swift. Yeah.
So can I think, who do we have left? Sorry, I have to look at who we have left.
No, you're good. I would almost put Chargers in D too.
You mean D?
Yeah. Unless you like them in the C tier still.
I think I like him in the C tier because I think the C tier is the perfect combination of belief. Like I still believe in the guy. He's just not like upper echelon. I think it just kind of depends on how crowded that C tier gets.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Honestly,
I get behind that.
I thought D was crazy, but I guess in my head I thought he had a better year last year than he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's below Swift. I think we'll see kind of where that puts him in our like rankings if we were to make a list. But yeah, I'd put him below. I put him below Swift. I think Swift's more of a game changer, and I think Swift's just they're basically the same player though. I think having them in the same
They're
tier
very
is
similar. Yeah, I think same tier.
I think honestly, Swift, Brown, and ETN are all kind of in that similar mix.
Yeah, they're all like behind that high end C. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Moving right along to my team, I'm so lucky that I get to do the Tennessee Titans.
What a dog.
Oh, great. Too bad Eddie can't do it.
It's not Cardell Flott. It's not even a running back, but
No Cardell Flott ranking.
Tragic.
Unfortunate. It's really sad. Man, Tony Pollard. Again, another guy where the stats look okay. He had better stats than Chase Brown, but it's Tony Pollard. Okay, can I propose something here?
go ahead.
I think we should move Hampton and Judkins down.
Yeah. Nope, I agree.
I think we should move both of them down, and I think we should put
Titans
Pollard
in the back end.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, but I also feel like he's more of a D tier. I feel like I would take Judkins and Hampton. So I feel like I would take Judkins and Hampton over Pollard if I want to start a team today. You know what I'm saying? But I also feel like I can't discredit the fact that he had a pretty solid year last year for a really bad Titans team.
Yeah.
So, but I also feel like there's a chance he could lose his job.
Okay. What if we leave D how it is, but we put him high D?
Yeah. Can we put him D?
I don't want him at the top. I would put Judkins above. Maybe even Hampton. Do you want him dead center of D in between the other four?
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Because
I'm okay with Hampton above both.
Because there's no way I'm taking him over the other four in C tier. And if we could argue that we would take Judkins or Hampton over him, then I think he's comfortably D.
We're not.
I think that's
we're
fair.
not allowed to say. Yeah. Yep.
So I think that's fair. That's a good point by you. I think we would take Judkins and Hampton. You could argue over him, but I wouldn't even sniff putting him over the other four. Which we might get hate for. He did have 1,000 yards. He's just Tony Pollard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It sounds disrespectful.
So we gotta move him over one more then, right? Or are you saying you want him there?
No, I think putting him in the middle is fine. Because Hampton didn't really play last year.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that's fair. So, touch upon the Eagles, Saquon Barkley. I feel this is a fairly easy. I feel like I put him in A tier.
Yeah.
Above
now,
Cook.
where in A tier, I think, is where it gets a little
I
bit
feel like
more
above
interesting.
Cook.
Yes,
But
so let
nowhere
me see.
else.
Let me pull this up real quick. I would have him over A-Chain, too.
You would?
I think Barkley gets a lot of flack because last year wasn't smooth sailing.
But
But it wasn't smooth sailing for really anyone on that Eagles offense. I think talent-wise, I think he's still better than A-Chain. I think he's one of the most talented running backs.
Skilled, yes.
Yeah. Because if we had this conversation last year, he would have been S. Right? I think there's a world where next year it's Bijan, Gibbs, and Barkley in the S tier, and McCaffrey's down one. Right? So I would put him. If you want to put A-Chain over him, I'm perfectly okay with whatever you decide there. But
yeah,
I personally would have him ranked.
I agree with that.
You'd put him ahead of A-Chain?
We're right where we have him right now, I like.
Okay. Perfect.
I agree with
Perfect.
that.
All right. Moving right along. This honestly might be the easiest one I have ever had to do. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but this is so easy, dude. I mean, it's just F. It's just F.
Yeah.
That's not saying they can't get better, but they're starting Bashal Tutin and Chris Rodriguez right now. That's F. That's unproven production from two young guys that we're not even sure are going to be any good. I almost think having them in F. I just don't understand why they didn't keep ETN. And maybe it's because they were worried ETN was going to make too much money, and maybe they really like Tootin, and maybe Tootin gets up into that C, B tier category. Like, they probably
at the end
think
of the
he
year,
can be
but
similar
start of
to
the year
Swift.
is F. Yep, I agree.
But F is just, it's just right there. It's nice and easy, nice and simple. Yeah, I think he's easily, I think the Jags themselves are easily F tier. F, F, F.
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
The Broncos. This, I think we might be a lockstep on. I could be wrong.
J.K. Dobbins.
Dude, the most fascinating player.
Right,
by
very,
the way.
very interesting.
Because he looks so good and then he gets hurt. And he's
Okay.
always hurt.
So, yeah. I want to say C, but I don't know where on C.
Okay. I would put him high. I would put him after.
I put him after
would put him
Judkins,
D.
but I feel like, yeah.
But maybe I'd put him D. And
Right,
I'd put him
'cause
after
he's
Hampton.
Because he's not able to
Just
stay
because he's
healthy.
always hurt.
Right, so we don't really see...
And it's like, at the end of the day, best availability. Like, you already know what he is, and he's always hurt. At least Hampton, it's like he got hurt, but it's like, okay, I still think Hampton can be a stud. I don't
Right.
think Dobbins
He
is a
can't-
stud. I
I
think
don't
he's
think
just
he
an
can.
average
I don't
guy
think
that's
he
always
can ever
hurt.
stay healthy enough to play. Yeah.
Like, a fully healthy season of Dobbins is probably in the C tier.
Yeah.
But he's always hurt.
I agree. Let's put him right between Panthers and Chargers, right between Chubb and Hampton.
Yep, I think that's the perfect spot.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect spot for him. Moving right along, the New York... We're going kind of fast this second segment. The New York Giants. Cam Scadaboo. This is going to offend a lot of white people out there, I feel like. A lot of whites are going to get offended right now. My goodness, I hate... Oh, man.
I like... I mean, it's not my choice to pick. I like Scadaboo, but I think the injury and just staying healthy issue is the only thing that would knock him
Yeah.
down a tier for me. Right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put him in D. Can I propose something? We've gone back and forth on this, but can I propose that we move Judkins up to C?
Yes. Put Judkins in C, and then put...
Put Scadaboo,
Scadaboo.
like here.
Really?
I
I
think,
think
in my
I would
opinion-
put him higher than the other
Hampton?
two. Than Hampton.
You think high end of D?
And I think high end D.
Okay, we can do
Because
that.
I think if you look before his injury, right, which obviously doesn't affect much because it's little games, but I feel like he played a similar amount of games as Hampton, right? But I think he played better than Hampton. And so if we're
Yeah,
going
he played one less game than Hampton. He had about
Right.
100 yards less rushing,
okay,
more touchdowns.
right. So
I think
if
it's
we're going,
close.
if we'd say we take Hampton despite the lack of games, I think we have to put Scadaboo above him because I would personally take him over Hampton, just with the same idea of despite the lack of games he played, the games he did play, I would take him over.
Okay, I'm the opposite. I would take Hampton.
Okay.
Man. Oh, man. But if you want to take Scadaboo, I'll give it to you.
Well,
Can
here's what I wonder. Can we
we
put
put Pollard...
Pollard
Okay.
behind Hampton and leave them
Yeah.
both in the top two of D?
Yes. I agree with that.
That's what I
agree
want
with
to do.
that.
I'm happy with that. I like that.
Yeah, I do like this. I do like this a lot more. I would take Hampton, but I completely understand. I completely understand it. I think it makes complete sense to have Scadaboo and Hampton kind of in that same range. You think you're going to get way more out of them this year, but they're also coming off injuries that you're going to need to. You're going to have questions about. So
Right.
makes sense. Makes sense. All right, moving along to the Minnesota Vikings. This is me, I'm assuming, right? No.
No,
I
you said
offended the
Giants.
whites last time.
So this is me. Yep, you offended the
I offended the
white
whites.
people. Oh boy, good old Aaron Jones.
I know where I'm putting Aaron Jones. Because there's two different kinds of Aaron Joneses.
Right, it's so back and forth.
There's the unhealthy Aaron Jones. And then
Right.
there's every time he plays the Lions, Aaron Jones. Every time he plays the Lions, Aaron Jones is in the A tier. But
Right,
realistically,
anytime he plays any other team or isn't healthy, so like I think high end D. You think, or do you think in even C? Actually, maybe not even high
I would
end
argue
D.
F before I argue D.
Right, I think I would. He's just not good.
He's old. He's always hurt.
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
think
to
F.
see if we would have anybody else potentially in that F tier. And I think I
Right.
see at least one team.
Alright, so like, are you kind of wondering like throw him on the very back end of D, and then maybe put Seahawks in F?
I would change it to this.
Okay.
Because I would do that. I'd put him in the back end of D. If we want to move him to F, we definitely can. I think what I'll use to maybe boost the Vikings up to D is like Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones are like solid together. But again, it's nothing special. I think that they needed a running back and they didn't address it, and now it's the Aaron Jones show again, which again, if he plays the Lions, it's an A tier every single time. For some reason he carves the Lions. But
Yeah.
in reality, he's just way past his prime, which is
not
unfortunate
good.
because he was okay in his prime. He really was.
Cardinals.
Oh,
you
boy.
thinking?
Oh, boy. And I go first?
You do go
Okay,
first.
well, here's the deal. All right? This shows no hot takes. I would make the argument B pushing A for Jeremiah Love. And he's never played a snap in the NFL. But I completely understand if we want to discount him because he hasn't played a snap in the NFL and put him in C. But I would put him in B.
I
I'd put
like
him behind the other four, or the other three. But I would put him in B. I would even consider putting him in the high end of B.
I agree B, but I think low end of B just because we haven't seen
Okay.
the NFL
Okay,
snaps.
All right. Fine.
See, I don't know because I agree with because I like him too, right? So maybe we do put him higher because I really don't like Jacobs that much.
We can put him above Jacobs if you
Put
want
him
to.
above Jacobs.
Look. I think there's a chance. I know I said
Honestly,
this
I
about
think he's
Barkley,
better
but
than Williams. I think he'll be better than Williams.
yeah.
Which
okay.
it's tough because I feel like we're not doing predictions for the season. We're doing like how they look going into it. So that's where I feel bad putting him that high. But in terms of like
I
my
know.
gut and how much I like him, I want to
Dude,
put
there's
him.
a chance that he's S next year. By the way.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, Okay, so here's my honest thoughts. All right. I think for the sake of moderation, we put him in B. I would put him in the high end of B, but I think if we want to credit the guys who have done it, we put him maybe behind Jacobs too. Just
because
to maybe
Jacobs
credit
has
the
been
guys
there.
before. Because I bet you people are going to get upset, by the way, that we have him over Chase Brown, Swift, Genty, like all these guys. I
Right.
bet you if you asked Green Bay fans, would you rather have Josh Jacobs or Jeremiah Love? They'd say I'd rather have Jeremiah Love. If I said, would you rather have Javonte Williams, Cowboys fans, or Jeremiah Love? They'd say Jeremiah Love. Rams fans, would you rather have Kyron Williams or Jeremiah Love? They'd say Jeremiah Love. I think the A tier right now is where that firmly stops. But I think the B tier is where those conversations
It's
can
flexible.
be had. I'm
Yes.
okay with putting him in the back end because he's a rookie. But man, I think the dude's special. And I don't think it's a hot take to put him in B tier based off his rookie season. I just don't. I think he's that good. I think he makes any one of the bottom 3 tiers infinite. I think they
They look
upgrade
infinitely
any regardless.
worse because of it. Yeah.
Like Jeremiah Love could replace all the running backs at the bottom, and that
Yeah.
includes the young guys that I'm high on.
I agree.
So-
I like it. Nope, I like it. So, move on to the Ravens after a nice little Jeremiah Love glazing. But we like the guy, so.
Yeah, hey, don't. Whoa, easy. I don't look. Glaze.
I don't know.
I just speak facts, guys.
Right,
Like,
we just speak truth.
I'm just telling you guys. You guys should prepare for Jeremiah Love to be S tier next year. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so moving
Ravens,
to the
Derrick Henry.
Ravens. This is you first, right?
Yes. And I want to go higher B, but I'm okay going to A.
I would go A.
Yeah, I'm going A.
I mean, I think
I'd put
Derrick
him
Henry.
in
I would put
between-
him.
in between Cook and the Dolphins. In between the Bills and
Oh,
the
really?
Dolphins.
I
think
would
Cook's-
put him in between the Eagles and the Colts.
Really?
Because,
you put him,
I mean,
you put him
Derrick
above
Henry-
Barkley?
I would. Derrick Henry, for all, like, honestly, we talk about ageless running backs. I mean, the dude is 32 years old and just rushed for 1,500 yards and
True.
16 touchdowns. And by and large, like, is just still just doing it at an insane level.
Yeah.
5.2 yards per carry.
Yeah.
For being
No,
that old
you're
of a
right.
running back.
Yeah, I like that.
I think-
I put him between the Colts and the Eagles too.
Because I'm going to defend you here. I did the same thing as you. I've switched my. You know what I've said? I switched my top 10. I
Yeah.
originally had him as like 9 or 10, and I was like, he's washed. And then I went and looked at the stats because I felt
You
like
were
every
like,
time I
wait a
watched
minute.
Derrick Henry, and I was like, he's not washed. He's still insane. He is
Yeah.
arguably a top 20 running back ever, maybe top 15. I mean, the years of production and how good he's been is up there. I think he's definitely an A for sure. Which I really like kind of how this tier list is starting to shape up.
Me too. So let's touch up
But-
on the Chiefs then.
All right, I'm first with the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs, Kenneth Walker, the new guy coming in. I would go B with Kenneth Walker.
Yep.
I would go in between. I personally would. I would put Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, in between the Rams and the Cowboys.
Me too.
I think he slots right on in there. Yeah, I think that's a perfect slot for him. I think he's right in that B tier. He's a Super Bowl MVP, and while you can argue that the other two behind him, in Williams and Jacobs, maybe have more past success and have stayed healthier, Kenneth Walker's a Super Bowl MVP, and I'm going to give him a little bit extra boost for that. I'm just going to be honest. So that's a genuine take.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think definitely he deserves that spot.
But
Really good running
All
back.
right.
So touch upon the Bucks. Bucky Irving.
Bucks. You're up with the Bucks.
I am.
Everyone loves Bucky Irving.
See, again, but it's just the injuries that I feel like make him go lower for me. Because I would say high end B, probably even A tier.
Okay.
But
Can
I think
I-
go ahead.
Can I argue we put him in between? Can I argue we put him ahead of Swift in C and we put him in C? Because I don't think it's an indictment on Bucky
Yeah.
Irving. But again, I think if you asked me, would you rather have Love or Bucky? I think people would say Love. I think the argument for Bucky being in C tier comes from the strict fact that I think when fully healthy, he's very similar to ETN, Chase Brown, and DeAndre Swift.
He
And
is.
all three of those guys are also guys that miss time. And when they do get banged up, they're not the same player. Like that's the big thing with Swift, right? Swift is a B tier guy when he's fully healthy. I understand he's coming off a fully healthy year, but when he's coming off the best season. When he does get hurt, he's just a completely ineffective running back, which is why you need a second one, which is why they have Manungai. So I would put Bucky Irving in high-end C tier.
I would too. Put him above Swift. Yep.
All right.
I can get behind that because I think with the injuries and just kind of that inconsistency, it keeps him lower. I think if he had perfectly healthy seasons, I would think he'd be a high-end B tier.
I think so too. I think a lot of variance can come from just being healthy. Like, I mean, Kenneth Walker's a guy who the biggest knock on him was staying healthy, and he's Super Bowl MVP in the B tier. Like, that's just the name of the game. Like, Scadaboo and Hampton could easily move up. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Swift and Chase Brown move down by next year, or Jacobs moves down. Like, there's so much variance that can come at the running back position. Moving right along to the Jets with Breece Hall. So, Breece Hall. The more I think about Breece Hall, I would put him in B tier. And I would put him behind Jeremiah Love. Yes, I'd put him behind Love in B tier. We can also put him ahead of Love. I don't care, but I would put him behind Jeremiah Love. I think he's in that back end of B tier.
Yeah. No, I would put him behind Love. I think he falls because I think he falls into the category we kind of been doing was like, would we take him over Love? No. But I don't think he fits in with the C class. I think he's still high enough to fit into B, just behind Love.
Yeah,
so I agree.
And
with
honestly, I think this is shaping out like kind of how we set, right? S tier, you have like your top 2, 3. A tier is like your 4 through like 9, or 4 through like 8 or 9, like right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then your B tier is like your 9 through 15, and then your C tier is like your 16 and on. And I think that's very fair. And obviously these aren't like rankings, we're just throwing them in tier lists, but I think a lot of these guys are all in this. I think they're all in relatively solid tiers.
Yeah.
So I think Breece Hall.
I agree.
I would go
I
B.
like how this is turning out.
I would take Hall over the other guys in C tier, but I wouldn't take him over Love, and I wouldn't take him over any of the guys in front of him. I think back end of B's perfect spot.
Yeah.
All right.
Touch on the Steelers with Jalen Warren. This is mine. Let's see. I kind of like Jalen Warren in the B tier.
Ooh, B.
But I'm curious your thoughts. I don't think I want him. I think I want to put him in B. Because I feel like he's higher than what we've kind of set C to be. Like what it is.
I would say, if I'm being honest, he slots right in between.
You think so?
I think he slots
right in between. You think he's below Bucky, though?
Yeah, I would slot him right in between Brown and Genty. But if you want to put him ahead of Bucky, that's perfectly okay.
I kind of want to see him ahead of Bucky, but I do like kind of where you want to move. See, I don't want to move Bucky back, though.
Can I be honest? I would swap Bucky and Swift.
I would. Can we swap them? But then can we put Warren in between Bucky and Swift?
Yes.
Or actually, sorry, not between Bucky and Swift. Do you like that better? Or do you like between Brown and Bucky?
I like here the most, but
okay.
I think we can do this if you like Warren. I would have put Warren in the C tier, but you want him in the B tier, so we're going to put him in the higher end of C. I think is very fair.
Yeah.
I mean, Steelers fans love him. He does a lot. He catches the ball in the backfield. He's a very, very, very big time running back who I think is just perfectly solid. The more I sit here and think about it, would I take Swift over Brees Hall? Like, would I switch him?
Do you want to switch them? I would be okay with switching them because I think.
No, I'm not going to. I like Brees Hall more as a player.
Yeah.
I think Swift had a better year, but I think there's a lot of reasons why Swift had a better year. I think he had a better offensive line and a better coaching staff than the Jets did.
Yeah.
So, no, I would
agree.
take Brees Hall. All right. Yeah, no, I would. All right. Moving right along. Washington. This is me. The Washington Commanders. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. I'm thinking this.
Yep.
Eddie.
Yeah, I really don't want to see Aaron Jones outside of F. And
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Because I think you could argue, like, all these guys in the D tier have promise. Right? Like, you can argue, like, Krosky Merritt's coming off a year where he rushed for 800 yards. Price is a rookie. Like, you could argue that, like, well, technically we're actually rating Charbonnet, who's coming off an injury. Hubbard, we could also probably move Hubbard down because he's coming off such a bad year. But the year before, he rushed for 1,000 yards. Pollard had 1,000 yards. Dobbins, Scatterboon, Hampton's biggest questions are health. I think Merritt slots right into the back half of that D tier. I don't think he's quite F because he showed a lot of promise, but I think he slots right into that D tier.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy. I'm happy with that choice. I'm happy with putting it there. I don't think I want to move anyone around for that. So
Yep. Now you
Finally.
rank your boy.
I get to rank my boy. Good old Texans, Montgomery. I would put Montgomery, as much as I love him, I would put him high end of B. I think above Kareem. Actually, no. Not above Kareem. I would put him between Javonte Williams and Kenneth Walker. Or do you think he's better than Kenneth Walker? Because I kind of...
Oh, really? Wow.
I think what I want to do is I want to see Montgomery high end B, but I feel like Kenneth Walker should go to A then.
So I am the opposite.
Really?
I was going to put him high end C.
Okay. But also,
With-
it's my
with-
boy. I'm trying not to be biased. He is my guy.
That is
so
your boy.
It's kind of tough. But I feel like if we didn't have Gibbs and it was simply Montgomery sitting in that RB1 slot, we
He
would
would
have.
be B.
Yeah.
I get
But that's
it.
why I feel like I would still take him over like Josh Jacobs or Javonte Williams, right? Like, I feel like I would take him over those guys.
Yeah. So I'm going to play devil's. I love David Montgomery too. He's also coming off a year where he just didn't get used a whole lot.
Exactly. So I'm
And
really
so-
hoping like. But
To be fair, he has also gotten hurt. He's gotten hurt the last 2 years as well. 2-3 years.
right.
I think I'm at the point. Actually, last year he didn't get hurt, but he didn't. I think
He really good player.
it's between him and Swift, in my opinion. I
Okay.
wouldn't quite put him in B. As much as I love the want to put him in B, I really do. I think it makes complete sense. If he was coming off a year like he did in 2024, right? Let me pull up the stats real quick. If it loads, dude, holy cow, this computer sometimes is so slow. Oh, well, he had 700 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. But also, I feel like the guys in B, sans Jeremiah Love, who's strictly projection, all were over 1,000. Besides Jacobs. But Jacobs also had like 14 touchdowns.
Right.
Like, I think if you were taking Montgomery from 2023 and honestly, even 2024, I think you'd have an argument for high end B, where he missed games in 2023 and 2024. In 23, he still had over 1,000 with 13 touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah. Do we want to put him behind Jeremiah Love in the B tier?
Okay, so I think if we're going to put him in the B tier, ahead of Jeremiah Love.
No, behind. I would say behind. Unless you think
really?
because of the speculation of Jeremiah Love and he hasn't played a snap, he should be above him. I would be okay with below him. But if you're thinking because of...
Let's get fully into the Jeremiah Love train. If he's bad, we'll just cancel our podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll be done. We'll cancel. We'll shut down the whole thing.
No, honestly, that's more fair than I think.
Right. I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
Can I propose something?
What are you thinking?
I would move Breece Hall up. The more I think about it, I would put Breece Hall here.
Okay.
If you want to move him maybe a couple spots back, if you want to leave him there, that's fine. I like Breece Hall.
Right. I'm happy with it like this, but I can get behind putting Breece Hall further up.
Let's just leave it.
Okay.
Let's just leave it. We already made our decision. We'll might as well just leave it. We're running time's getting a little long. We'll just leave it how it is. I think it's perfectly fine.
I don't hate it. This was fun.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
I enjoyed this. Took a hot minute, but I enjoyed this. It was worth it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I'm just looking. I'm seeing if there's anything I'd want to change, but I don't really think.
Well, I don't know. Like, people are going to get offended that Swift's in C tier, but that means Swift is if you go in order, Swift is the 16th best running back in the NFL. If
exactly
I told you
half.
DeAndre Swift is the 16th best running back in the NFL, you'd probably agree with me. If
Exactly.
I told you that, that Jeremiah Love, for as much as we just, hyped him up, is right, on this list, 14th. David Montgomery's, 13th. Montgomery's 14th. I think that's fair.
I think people would, yeah. If you took it off the tier list and put it into a name, a bullet point list, I think people would agree.
I think so, too. No one's going to agree. Let's be honest. No one's going to agree with us.
Well,
but
yeah, just because they don't
at
want
the end of the
to,
day, our list is our list. It's our opinion.
Exactly.
So.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I don't have anything else to add. Michael, do you?
No, this was really fun. Just a couple things. We're doing summer scouting for offensive tackles will be the next one. Obviously, we're going to keep that going throughout summer. This is the first episode of the tier lists. I think the next one we're doing is wide receivers. I'm pretty sure Brandon will be on, so we'll add a little bit more flavor and debate to that one, which should be a good time. That's pretty much it. Quarterbacks will be coming a little bit later in the summer, probably more after everything else. Working on getting a very, very special guest on for that one. But this was fun, man. I'm excited to post this. I'm excited to see what people think. And
yep, I'm excited
awesome.
for all the hate comments to come in, and you guys should do
it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
crap ton of them for us to laugh at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Please make sure just, like and follow and leave a couple reviews for us so we know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Interact with us. We love that. But hope you guys have a good one. Peace.
Peace.